Hello, welcome back. In today's episode, we have a lot to cover, and we are going to include authentication. We are going to add the front end, and if possible, work on the dashboard. So I want this app to get done. We have a lot of apps to build in a row, and yeah, so we have a lot of work to cover into this video. But before we dive in, I want to first thank those people who have taken time to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and those ones who are sending me ideas on WhatsApp. Those ones I'm so much grateful to see how you guys you are learning with this, and I genuinely give content so that you guys can become good developers. And there is a lot to come, because my channel is unique in such a way that we are not just only going to look at Next.js. We are going to take this develop as a software engineer. I want you to be seeing how you are going to traverse from being just like a person who knows some React, Next.js. We are going to move to Dockers, Kubernetes, AWS, all those things. We are going to move together step by step, and I want you to believe in the process. Okay, I don't believe in jumping in place. You jump from Next.js, you have built only one app, and then you build to another program. You first build as many apps in one language, and you be so good in that language, and then you can proceed to the next. Okay, we have a lot of stuff coming up. First of all, we have more apps coming up, full stack apps, and more especially systems. Okay, and then we'll have React Native coming up. We have Laravel coming up. We have also the Docker, Kubernetes, and AWS. All those things, we are going to do them process by process. And another thing I want to say is that an announcement is I'm launching the course. I wanted to say this before I start the video. I'm just going to leave here the waitlist. So if I just come here and show you the link, actually the link is here. Let me just go to YouTube, and here there are these other links. I'm just going to scroll down so you can see there is this link. Okay, so there is this waitlist. Guys, you can join this waitlist. I will leave the link in the description. You can simply click and wait for the course waitlist. Okay, you can wait for the course waitlist, and the course is going to be released within this month. Okay, at the end of this month, November, I'm just going to be releasing this month, and when it comes out, I will just notify you in your inbox. And one thing is that it's going to be in levels. I'm just going to send you the details of the course, of course, and you will be reading about it. Okay, and we have, of course, a lot that will be coming up, as you can see on this website. Okay, I have a lot planning for you guys, and we are going to be learning. And in that course, we are going to be concentrating onto systems. Okay, building, we'll be building, of course, like one day we start by building a to-do app, but our main focus is going to be building systems. Okay, and then another thing I want to say is that I went ahead, and if you want to buy me a coffee, some people are asking me where they can buy me a coffee. I've set up just like a small Koji account whereby you can actually buy me a coffee. Okay, just simply put in any amount. I will be so much grateful for your sincere contribution, and I want to use that money to buy a machine. My machine is so much struggling, more especially when I'm making videos. I don't know if it can manage like React Native or even big stuff, but I will be so much grateful for your sincere contribution. Okay, the link, I also leave the link in the description, and all videos they will have the buy me coffee link. Okay, so that's it I want to say, and it is out of the way. Let's go ahead and start the business. Okay, So today I want us to first put authentication. Okay, now speaking of authentication, I have a big part of the course. I think it's going to be part of the course whereby we're going to look at 3 levels of authentication. While we have authentication as level 1, whereby you allow a user to log into your application. Then we look at level 2, whereby we have authentication plus authorization, where we bring in the user roles. Okay, where you can have an admin, you can have a supplier, you can have a lot of people logging into the same application, but they have different roles, and they can look at different dashboards due to their roles. Okay, and then level 3 is whereby we make roles and permissions and we create a CRUD out of them, because in the first place you had to code the roles. Okay, you had to code the roles and the permissions, everything is hard coded in the app. But in the level 3 of the app, whereby we're just going to be creating a CRUD functionality of the roles and permissions, whereby the admin can create a new role, okay, and then he can go ahead and also create a permission, and then he can assign permissions to the roles. Okay, for instance, he says he has created a secretary, and he can assign that secretary some roles. Okay, the permissions rather. So we just look at that, and I don't know, it's a big project, and of course we are going to be looking at building very nice UIs, building reusable component in that very system. I'm just working on it and I'm just completing it, and this what you're going to cover here is just going to be level 1. Okay, but in the upcoming video, I don't know if I'm just going to make it as a YouTube video or I'm just going to be part of the course. Okay, so for now, let's just dive in and see how you are going to authenticate this. So I just also created a guide. I'm just going to leave this guide in the description, whereby you can follow step by step so that you can reproduce the same thing in all your apps. Okay, and this is one thing I always do, and I wish all teachers or all content creators could always do. They create this guide that a user or a person who is using the content can always see. And you're going to see in my courses, most of the things that you're going to be covering in the course, you will find that there is actually a written guide. Okay, and that can guide you, and you can reproduce the same thing in almost every app, because you can't get the things in the first place. Like, you can't just get up the things in the first place. Okay, so let's just talk about the authentication. I'm just going to briefly talk about the authentication. So if you're just going to use credentials, there are a lot of if you just go to NextAuth here, we're going to use NextAuth. There are a lot of providers. If you just went down here and you look at the providers, really the list is so big. Okay, but the most used one is the credentials plus the Google and GitHub. Okay, and in the other big system we'll be considering those 3. Okay, but in this today's video, I'm just going to use the credentials. Okay, I'm just going to use the credentials, and logically what it does is that you have a user, so you can register a user. So NextAuth only helps us to sign in users and have the user object stored in a session. It creates that session across the whole entire app that helps us have that user throughout the app. That's the only thing it does. It does sign in, and it also creates the session so that you can access the user on every page. Okay, and you can reproduce that that functionality even without NextAuth, but it's so easy with NextAuth. That's why you just use NextAuth. So I'm just going to see how we are going to add this in our app very fast. You can read about I went ahead, created some simple notes. It's just like to give you the idea of how this whole works. So we start by signing up users. We have in the database, we are going to create a user in our database. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and do all those things, like create a sign up page, create a login page, and then NextAuth is going to help us only and only compare those ones. Let's start by installing NextAuth. So this is the first step here. Install NextAuth. Okay, and I'm just going to also add it here. I don't know if I have it. Do I have it? Just here, install and set up Prisma. We already have Prisma set up. I'm just also going to add here on top. Okay, install. Just going to add this here. Okay, or you say install NextAuth. Okay, and I'm just going to add this. So just install NextAuth. I'm just going to go here in our app and simply npm install NextAuth. Okay, so that is great. We are installing NextAuth. So moving on to the next thing, as we after installing NextAuth, the next thing here they tell you is add the API route. And so we have this catch-all API route that we are going to create, and they're saying if you're using Next.js 13.2 or above, we just have to use this guide. So click on this guide. Okay, and basically the first thing to do is to create this. Okay, this one is called catch-all route. So just going to go in API. We already have API. We'll create this. Okay, just copy this. Okay, and I'm just going to simply go in app. We have API, and then in the API simply create a new file and just paste this and change this from TS to JS. As simple as that. So now you should have API, and then you have auth, then inside the auth you have all this, and then simply paste this in that. Just simply copy and paste this. So I'm just going to add this. Okay, so now here we are going to put auth options. Now this is not the first time to do this. There is already a video I have. If you watched the invoice app, you already know these steps. If you haven't, you can watch that episode specifically for authentication in the invoice app. But they will create this a catch-all route. Okay, and then inside here we're supposed to put the auth options. Okay, so now let's go back to this guide, set up Prisma and all this. We're just going to go back to this in a second. Okay, I just want to first set up the other part. I think is the hard part. Okay, it is here. Sorry. Just scroll down to this part. What is that part? Okay, I've passed it, I guess. Okay. I just scroll slowly, and I could just like search. I don't know why I can't search. Can I just say Ctrl F and search like API create API? Let's see. Okay, so it is here. Create an API endpoint. So just create this is the one of creating the user. I just want the okay, so this is the one here. Okay, you need to install NextAuth, of course, and then we create in the API, create the catch-all route and add the code. So we have this. Okay, so you can first create this options folder. So there is this one, call them auth options. I'm just going to copy this. So let's first go to our libs. So just minimize this for a second and go to lib, and then in this lib let's create auth options. So just say auth options.js and just paste this whole entire code. We just come back to it, but I just get these auth options in the route. So here where we have this NextAuth, let's path in auth options, okay, from libs. Okay, this one is from lib, and this is done. Okay, we have the NextAuth here, and we have this done. Okay, so after you have created this, we will just go through all these ones at a point. That's the only step you just need to do. Just create this. We'll come back to this later. Let's just go back up and just for the documentation how it is. So we already have Prisma. We are going to use Prisma. So we already have Prisma running, and we are not using Supabase this time. The only thing I just want you to do is to add this model of the user. Okay, so then the user is going to have an ID. The user will have a name. We have email, email verified image, hashed password, created at, and updated at. So you can just copy this. Okay, you can just simply copy this. And let's go back to the models. So just go to the schema app. So down here, I'm just going to go to the schema, and let's add one model for the user down. Okay, so just down here, add this model user. As simple as this. It has an ID. We already seen the ID, and then it has the name. It has email, which is unique. It has email verified, the image, hashed password, and created at, and this. And you could even just remove like the image. Okay, you could remove the image, and it still works. And even email verified, you can remove those ones and it will still work. Okay, but in the future, when we are working on the level 2 and level 3, we just modify this to have more big data. Okay, but that's enough for now. And then next is, of course, we already have the database. That is not a big deal. We already have the global instance. So the first thing is to create the register. Okay, we can create the register functionality and just simply go ahead and create app, register, and create page. So I'm just going to copy this. So go and create here in the app, create a new folder called register. Okay, register, and let's just create here a new file, page.jsx, and just paste this. Okay, so what is in this? This is just as a component, a register component, and it's supposed to get this register form. We're just going to look at this in a second, but this is just like a section that is having a logo. So on top here we have a logo, so you can change this to any logo you want. Just change this as a logo. Okay, and then just going, of course, to put here the inventory system. Okay, so you can just have any logo you want there, and then you have this create a new account, and then we have the form. So I abstracted the form into its own into a component, and let's look at this component in a second. Okay, just scroll down, and then we have this we just have this. Okay, here just copy this. Okay, and just go and create this register component. This one we have here. Just go to the components. Okay, and just inside the you could just any here, you could just create components, and just create maybe auth this time, like the auth components, not just like a file, but just like a folder. Just call it auth. Okay, and you could just go ahead and put like the register. So the here register form, register form .jsx, and just paste this. And what is in this? Why I'm just like pasting this is just really HTML. There is no much logic here. Okay, there is no much logic here. I'm just going to explain for you in a second, but literally what we have here is we have some inputs. Okay, we have for the name, Okay, we have the name, we have the email, and then we have the password down here. We have the password. Okay, you could just go ahead and use the components we built, but I'm just going to leave it like this for purposes of time. But you could just go and reuse the other components we built, and everything will still work. Okay, so we have this done. Okay, so I just going to explain right now what is happening. Okay, so if right now we just go and visit that page, localhost register. Let's first get this component in the register. So just go to register page, and this one is not from there. Just simply remove this and just come and import it here. Okay, it is in components auth. Okay, and let's just go ahead, visit register page. So just go and revisit the register. Okay, so you have this. Okay, we have this register. Create a new account, and you can just go ahead and put this text in the center. Text center. Okay, so we have the name. So you enter the name, you enter the email and your password, and then you should be able to sign up. Okay, and then also we can work on the login. Okay, you can see, so you have this basically, and I'm just going to do one more thing here. Okay, is add this shadow, and I'm just going to say to Excel. Okay, as simple as that. And this will just give it like a nice shadow. Okay, great. So you could just go ahead right now. Of course, since we are using blue, we can change that button to blue, and it's very easy. Just go to register, Control F wherever there is blue. There is no blue. Oh, purple. So it is purple. So wherever there is purple. Okay, so there are a lot of places where we have purple. You could just change everything to blue by saying Control H, and then you say blue. So enter this, and everything is going to shift to blue. Okay, yeah, so you see we have everything to blue now to match our app, since we used blue. Great, so we have this the sign up form working. So what does this sign up form do? Just for the next, and if you just look at what it is doing, basically is what you have been doing all along. Okay, it is having you can remove this action. It is having here on submit, and we are registering this. We are registering the name. Okay, we are registering the email, and we are registering the password. Okay, where is the password? Down here. We are registering the password. Okay, we are registering the password. As simple as that. We are registering the password here. As simple as that. And if you try to submit with minus filling, it should just give us all the errors. This field is required. So the authentication is already done, which is great. Okay, so now the only thing we just need is to set up where this is going to land. Okay, so you can see we have base URL and his next public base URL. Make sure you have this in your environmental variables. If I check next public base URL, I have it here. Okay, make sure you have that. Just go back to the register, and you can see we are fetching base URL API user. So we are sending it to the API user, so that's the endpoint, and we are sending the data, which is the name, email, and that. So in the next here, if you scroll down here, okay, if you just simply scroll down, so you see here we are just going to create an API endpoint. Okay, so just create an API endpoint here. Okay, here I don't know why it's doing all this. So just go ahead and create an API endpoint here, which is just user, and then you're going to add this. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and create API. We already have a lot here. just create a new folder, call it user. Okay, this is going to be registering the user, and then inside here create route.js, as simple as that. And let's just have this code. I'm just going to pass through all this code just in a second. And there is here, you need to install bcrypt. Okay, so just here, we are going to use bcrypt for hashing passwords. Okay, and I will show you how that one works in a second. Okay, so I'm just going to say npm install b, I don't know, is this like bcrypt? I don't know if that's a password, but bcrypt, I think it's the password. We just like check it here on top here, bc crypt, I think that's the spelling. Okay, so just install bcrypt. Okay, so in this we are receiving the data, the name, email, password, as we sent them from this register form. So you can check in the register form, we are sending this to API user, and then on the API user, which is here, we are receiving the name, email, password. Okay, so the first thing is to check if the user already exists. You don't want to register user twice. Okay, if the email, so we use the email, we say user, so we can first get this db. It's not from the libs, you can just import it again, just like this from lib, just like that. And by the way, to make sure we are up to date, let me first stop this and run npx. So just Ctrl C, npx prisma db push. Okay, we have to make the changes, npx prisma db push. Okay, and this is just to make the changes we made in our the changes we made in the schema. We added the user, so you have to update these changes in the database. Okay, so just wait for a second. Meanwhile, as it is doing that, let's go ahead and explain what it is all about. So we get here the name, email, password from the form, and then after getting them, we want to know if this user already exists in the database. And the first thing we first check in the database if there is a user with this email. Okay, and I think this is done. Just a second, let's confirm everything is okay. Yep, everything is okay. Just going to say npm run dev. Okay, and let me drop this down. So we first check if the user already exists in the database. By this, if the user exists, we want to create a conflict. Okay, we want to say already the user already exists in the database, and you can just say if user exists, and then you run this, and literally you return a user's null, and then you write this message. We could capture this message if we wanted, and just raise this status 409. And the status 409, we have already seen it earlier on, but it's just a conflict. Okay, and now we can, of course, check for this status 409 in the register. Here, you're going to see we are just checking for the if. Okay, if response is okay, we toast user created successfully, and we can route.push to login. Okay, else we check if the response dot status is 409, and if it is 409, then we know that we have this a conflict. So we say set email. Okay, I have this email error. I think we have this email and set email, and this is the error that is going to show the for the email, and this should be like set email error. Okay, just to be on the right side, just come here and they just use this. So set email error to use user with this email already exists, and then we also don't stop there. We also give them the toast user with this email already exists. Okay, and that is great. Okay, that is great, and that's it. And that's it. And I just want to change also this one to say something something went wrong, just in case we have bad internet, or for some reason we can't register them. We can just say something went wrong, please try again. So say here, please try again. Okay, some friendly error catching here going on here. Okay, so here we have the response. If it is okay, we create the user. If something is bad, then we check here. Okay, so great. So after doing that, we should be able to create a user at that point. I'm just going to first of all, we could just use a Prisma Studio, so that instead of me going to npx Prisma Studio, this just to help me, like instead of going to MongoDB to check, we can just quickly check in the studio. Okay, update available, blah blah. Okay, so we have here, I'm just going to quickly choose we have all these ones. I'm just going to cross all these ones, just simply add. Okay, I'm just going to choose a user, just choose user here. Okay, so you have the user here, and let's just go and refresh this page. Okay, just to refresh this page to make sure everything is okay. Okay, just make sure everything is okay. So at this point, let me just also show you how bcrypt works. So if you just go to the user, if he passes this check, if the email does not exist, we go ahead and get the hashed password, and we use this function called hash that comes from bcrypt. So bcrypt has this function called hash, which uses to hash the passwords. Okay, and you can see it is 10 here. This 10 is short, or it is how many rounds of encryption it should take. The higher the number, the better, but if the number exceeds 10 is the optimal number. If you exceed 10, it can take much time, or if it just is 9 or less. So 9 could be just like less secure or something, but 10 is the optimal number. Okay, you can also read more about this by going to bcrypt npm package and check it out. Then we can now create a new user, db.user.create, and we just use the name, email, and the password. Now, depending on what you put on the schema, you have to be very careful. So you can see on the schema we have hashed password. Okay, we are saving it as hashed password here. So that means here on this route you don't have the password, but instead you have the hashed password. As simple as that. So you have name, email, hashed password, which you have already gotten from the actual password. At this point we can just console the user, and if everything is okay, we should get a new user. Okay, I'm just going to create a new user. I'm just going to say the name is going to be maybe Andrew Joel or whatever. Andrew Joe. I don't know if that name makes sense, but and then the email is going to be admin. Okay, admin@admin.com, as simple as this. Okay, admin@admin.com, and then the password is going to be password. Okay, let's just say password. Okay, and then like sign up. Okay, so creating, please wait. Okay, and of course you can just go ahead and customize that message. Okay, so user created. Okay, the user was created and went to the login. We don't have the login yet, but let's just check in the Prisma here if we have this user. So I'm just going to come here, refresh, and the user is here, Andrew Joe, this, and the password you can see is hashed. Okay, that's great. We have the user. Let's work now on the login. So following this documentation, you can see we have now the login functionality logic. So the first thing, of course, is to create, we have created already these parts here for the logging in the user, but the first thing is to create the login page. Okay, just create this the login page, and I'm just going to copy this, go to the login. Okay, under app, so app, just create a new folder called login. Simple as that. And then in this, you can just go ahead and create page. Okay, just create page.jsx. Okay, and then we can just have this, and basically this is the same form we have the site. I'm just going to say here inventory system for the logo, inventory system. Okay, and you can just go ahead, of course you can put a slash here. Okay, and sign in to your account, and as you're just going to do here, just add to Excel, and we have that. And then you have to create this component called login form. So go ahead and let's get that component from here. Okay, so that component is from here. Just copy this, the login form, go to the auth, so components auth, and just create the login. So it is login form .jsx. Okay, and let's paste this. So in this login form, so we have the here on top here we have the router. Of course, want to route the user. Okay, want to route the user to the dashboard in this case. Okay, we can first of all just go to this page, the login page, and get this component. Let me first remove this one. Okay, and down here just get this login component. Okay, so if we just now refresh this page, we should see the login. Let's see, it should, yeah. So we have this sign into your account. I can put this to the center. Where is it? Text center. Okay, so you have this in the center very nicely. So you have this, and we can do the same thing, changing to blue. So go to the login form, just Control F, and just check for purple, and whatever it is, just say Control H and replace with blue. Okay, and this should change now to blue, everything including this. Okay, so great. So we have this. You can go ahead, of course, and also sign up. Okay, you can now see you can switch between these pages, the sign up and the login. Okay, now so we want to try to log in. So what happens, this is where part where NextAuth starts from. So everything with NextAuth starts from here. Okay, first let's look at this NextAuth. So when someone does this, okay, when someone tries to register, okay, when someone tries to register right now with this form, what happens is that this auth options is where everything starts from. Okay, so if we just go in the libs, where is the libs, close this API, let's go to lib auth options. So when you register, you try to register, and I can even remove this callback. I don't think we need it, but a second. So when you try to register, the first thing that happens is that we have to first tell that the pages, by default, they have their own page for the sign in. Okay, you can check it in the NextAuth documentation. Okay, you can come here and check like sign in, I guess, or you could just check like the pages, I guess. Pages, is it like pages? We restrict returned error, login, custom. So by default they have their pages. If you read through, you see they have already they have their pages. If you just go to Auth, sign in, they already have there the form, depending on what you specified here. Okay, depending on what you specified here. I don't know if I could just do that, if it will work. They have Auth, I think it is Auth sign in. Is it sign in? Let's just confirm here. From pages, something like this, Auth sign in. Let's just see. Yeah, I think something like this. They supposed to be in the API, I don't know, but by default they have their page. They say to add custom login. Okay, this is when you have already added. I want to see the default. Let's just see here. Okay, they have the default that looks like this. This is the default they have, but I just wanted to know the URL for this sign in page. Okay, okay, so they have the default pages. I cannot find them here. Okay, I cannot see it here. Let me just type in like sign in page. Okay, they have the sign in, but I'm not seeing it here, guys. Okay, I'm not seeing it here, but somewhere they have that sign in page. Okay, I wish I could see, but you can define your own page. So instead of using their theme, which is not looking good, we just go ahead and put our login. So if you have any page you have created, you see we have created ours on the login. That's why I came here and I passed in login. Okay, so you pass in the directory where your page is, and that's great. Okay, so finishing that, the first thing is we have to also install the adapter. So you can see there is this Prisma adapter. Okay, we are just going to use Prisma adapter. If you go to documentation and you go to adapters, so there is providers, then adapters, and you can just come here, choose the adapter you are using. For our case, we are using Prisma, so I'm just going to choose Prisma, and then you're supposed to install these things, more especially this Auth Prisma adapter. Okay, Prisma client we already have, so I'm just going to come here and install the adapter. Okay, so go down here. Okay, just go down here and let's say npm, let's install the adapter. Okay, this one is having the, so just come here and say npm install auth. So you're installing the Auth Prisma adapter. So install this, and this is the adapter we're using here. If you're using Mongoose, you're supposed to use Mongoose. There are so many adapters, but since we're using Prisma, we're using the adapter, and this adapter is the one which actually communicates with the database to make sure everything is in sync. Okay, another thing you have to pass in is the secret, and this is very important. They don't, I think this is why they mention it in the documentation. You have to specify the secret, and you create it by yourself by this NextAuth secret. So if I go to .env, you must put somewhere this next secret. Just next secret is equal to, and you can put anything here. Just going to say here secret key. You can generate any random text here, as simple as that. And let's go back. Okay, and then session, you can just say JWT, JSON Web Tokens. And then providers, we are using only the credentials. And the credentials, the things you put here, they don't matter. The fact that but you can always just put like email and password, the one you want to use for authentication or for the login, as we have the email and password, the ones I put here on the credentials part. And of course the name is credentials. The most important part is this authorized function. Okay, this authorized function is the most important one. So async authorized function, it takes in the credentials, and the credentials, they mean these ones, the email and the password, the one that you send. So when they come, they actually come here, authorized credentials, and you can see this. Okay, you can just see this on check if the credentials are correct. So you just first check if the person has put in the credentials. If they have not, now for us the good thing is that we already have some authentication going on if someone doesn't do this. If you check, let me close the register form and all these other ones. Okay, I'm just going to close this and remain with the important ones. So you can see for us, we have already this taken care on the front end. If someone tries to submit the login page, let me just go to the login. If someone tries to submit without any details, we actually have this covered onto the front end. But still, even here, we actually confirm. You cannot trust the front end, so we always just do this check first. So when that one is done, let's check if the user exists, because we want to get the details of the user. We put them in the session. So we say check existing user, we just use DB, and let's make sure this DB is coming from the right place. Yeah, okay, the db.user.find unique, and we get from this email is credentials.email. If there is no existing user, we can just return. But if the user is there, then we can check the password. So we use this again, another method from bcrypt, which is compare. Okay, now if you look at this method, we are comparing the credentials password with existing user. Now on the user, we don't have this password. Instead, we have the hashed password. If you remember from the Prisma schema, I changed it here to hashed password. So copy this to the auth options. Here is supposed to be hashed password. So you compare with the user, the password they have typed in, plus the existing, the one that from database that is hashed, this one. Okay, if the password don't match, we can log this out. And now in the other system, right now I'm not going to handle the error handling here. You can just go ahead and handle the error handling. I'm not going to add that. In the other big system of the authentication, we'll put all that error handling to show on the users page. Okay, but for now we just return. But if everything passes, you see we make 3 checks. The first check is the credentials, if they are correct. The second one, we check if this user really exists in the database. And if they pass that, we check the password. If they pass the password test, then we can now create a user. Now we create a user by saying ID, which is existing user ID, name, and the email. Okay, so these are the ones we want to return. Okay, so we just use this name in a minute, but we have the name and everything. So here we can of course console the user and make sure you return the user. This authorized function works with the JWT. Whatever you return in this authorized function will be passed to this JWT as the token. Okay, so this will be the token. If you wanted to add anything in this, after this it runs the token, then after the token runs the session. So if right now everything is correct, we should just be able to check. I'm just going to go here. The email was admin@admin. Okay, and the password was and let's first check the redirect in the login form. If everything is okay, where are we redirecting? Okay, we don't want to post to the invoice new, just want to post to the right now we could push to the dashboard. Okay, we could just go to, let's go and check the dashboard. So I'm just going to go here on localhost 3000 and let me just get the link of the dashboard. We could just push them to the dashboard. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this, just push them here on the dashboard. Okay, when everything is okay, and what is happening is that we have this async after submitting the data. You can just see on the console the data and the password, and we start the loading, and then we call in this this sign in function from the NextAuth. You can see the sign in function is from NextAuth React. Now this function, if it is credentials, it takes in also the data. Okay, and then here we have redirect false. Okay, if you just say true, it is going to redirect to the it's supposed to redirect to the error page. I think it's the error page, but here we stop the redirect because we want to use the router. Okay, so we first check if this matches. When you run using this sign in, we'll send the data to the auth to this authorized function. When everything checks, they will get the data into the JWT. When everything is okay, this JWT runs and then it sends data into this session. Okay, now we can't just now be able to do that, and I'm just going to go ahead, go back to the login. Okay, we can just go back to the login and let's just put in admin@admin. So admin@admin, and password, we could have even made it admin, but just say it is password. Okay, so logging in, signing you in. Please wait. Let's just see if everything is okay. Okay, just wait and see. Okay, so you can see it successfully directed us to the dashboard, meaning that we have this working. If I just go ahead and check on the console, so you could just check here on the console, you will see that the user is here. Okay, the ID is here, the name Andrew Joe, and the email. This is the most important information we want from the user. Okay, so the signing in happened, but then how do we get these details? Okay, so these details, they just landed as a JWT, then later on they put them in the session. So how do we use the session? Okay, so if we are to use the session, let's just continue in a second here. Okay, if you are to use the session, you have to create the provider. Okay, so yes, we're going to create the context. Okay, we have to get this session and we put everything in the app to be able to access the user globally everywhere. And to be able to do that, okay, the first thing you do, I'm just going to create here outside in the directory a new context. So you say context. Okay, and then not context, it is context. Okay, just create this context, and then inside in the context just create auth provider. Okay, call it auth provider.jsx, and then inside here you can just put this code. Okay, so the first thing is we use this, they give us session provider. You can read about it from this NextAuth. You can just come here and you search for the session provider. Okay, session, just say session provider. You can just check onto this. I don't know if we can just find it here somewhere. It is here, so you can just you can just go ahead and you just use this the session provider. Okay, the session provider, you can just use it, and it uses the context API, and this is how you set it up. You get session provider, and then you can pass it like this. You pass in the session as the same exact way I'm doing it here. Okay, and it is on the client, that's why we put in its own session provider. So it is auth, just go to like auth provider, takes in children and the session, and then we return the session provider with the session, just like this. So after doing this, bring it in the layout, so you can just wrap it around the entire layout. So in this layout down here, I'm just going to copy everything inside the body, and then you can just say auth provider from the context. Okay, as simple as that, and then put this everything, and this is putting the whole now the session in the whole app. We can get everything in the whole entire app, everything to do with the session. Okay, as simple as that. Let's continue here. After wrapping your, of course, you go ahead and wrap your layout. That's what you did, wrapping the layout with the provider. Okay, and then now you can access the user data in the navbar anywhere you want. Okay, we can access the data in everywhere you want. So for instance, let's go to the navbar. Okay, and we have these we have some helper functions. We can use this use session if it is, we are going to look at if it is front end, no, if it is server side and client side. Let's first go to here to the navbar. I'm just going to head to the navbar components. So just go to where we have components, dashboard, and then we're just going to head to the header. Okay, so in the header we have a lot of things here going on, more especially like this image, blah blah, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so the first thing to note just getting is that I'm just going to see where we have here Garrett. Okay, I'm just going to put the actual name. We could actually just put the actual name onto this one in a second, but let's just see how we have to put only one of the names. Okay, we can just get one of the names here, and first of all is to get the user into this. Okay, and this is going to be a use client. Let me see, history, blah blah. Where do we get the user name? I'm just going to search for Garrett. Okay, so it's here in this in here. So I want to put the name here, but the first thing I'm just going to come on top here and get this as use session. So I'm just a const and then here we can actually access data. We can the sentence data, we can rename it to session. Okay, is equal to use session. Okay, and just like that. And if you do that, then you have to make sure that this is a client side. Okay, client component. Okay, use client, and it is not a must. If you wanted, we could simply make it still get the session using the server side, but I just use this and see if there is anything we're just going to get. So from this session we can access the user, for instance the name. Okay, you can just get the name here, username. Could just say const username, okay, is equal to, and we could first of course check if, okay, if, and here we're just going to be sure we will not allow people to come this side when they are not logged in. So username is equal to session dot user. So on this there is user, and then we can access the name, okay, just like this. And if we wanted, we could split this. Let's just first show you. So just come to where there is Garrett here. Let's just put this username, as simple as that. I don't know if it is already in session user. Okay, let's just like go ahead, and I'm just going to do like this. Only if this is not there, we can default this to an empty object. Okay, as simple as that. If the user is not there, we can default it. Reading and find of the user, we can also just check this if the session exists, just like that. Okay, let's just go ahead and still log out. You can see it as, and it is there. Okay, okay, so we have the Andrew Joe, the name is there, but we could also get some other thing. I think it is, if the app is loading, we can also get, I think, status. Let me see. We can also get status, and from this status we can actually do different things. For instance, I don't know if we have the loading. Do we already have the loading JS? We don't have, but we are just going to specify here using this status that if, okay, if status is equal to, so they have three states: the authenticated, loading, and authenticated. We can start with the loading. If it is equal to loading, and we could just say return a p tag, okay, saying loading, okay, loading user. Maybe, of course, here you can have a very good component to handle this if there is loading. Okay, and then you could also just go ahead and say if, okay, if user. So you can just say, go and say if user, and this is the dashboard, by the way. So if status, okay, if status if status is equal to, so right now we can check for the unauthenticated. If it is this is unauthenticated, we can just also show them to log in. Now we could just go ahead, this is already used client, and I could use a router. If someone tries to access here, let me just first create a router and see if this is going to work. What I'm thinking, we could show them a login link, but we can also redirect them. So you say router is equal use router from next navigation, and then I'm just going to say if status is unauthenticated, I'm just going to say router dot push, okay, router dot push, and just like push this the login. so that they can actually log in. Okay, let's see what happens. And then of course, now if you pass these checks, that means you are authenticated. Now you can look at everything we have there, and you can see here I've been redirected to this. Let's just try to log in. Admin, and then here is password. Okay, so I have this, and you can see I'm getting all this, everything great. Andrew Joe, and we can only show one name if we wanted here instead of showing two names. Sometimes the names can be too long, and we can simply come here and we can split this. Okay, we could split this, could just say split. Okay, and we are going to split it at while we have space, and then from there we get an array, and from this we can access, I think, the first name. I don't know if this is going to work. Let me just wait and see. Yeah, so we have only one name, Andrew, so you can just use this to get only just the first name only. Okay, so after that, what we can also do is that we can add the logout. Okay, we can add the logout first of all. And why is it not persisting the user? That is another problem. Admin at admin password. Why is it doing this all the time? Okay, because even if we refresh, it should just keep here signed in. Okay, let me just go to this page. This is GB web developer, so I know this is on the home, so we need also to get the full name here. Now we need to get the full name here, and then on this image, we, instead of the image, we are going to put the initials. Okay, we are going to put the initials, and I already have the function for generating initials. I have this function here. Okay, I'm just going to put it in the libs. Okay, just copy this function, and in the lib, I'm just going to go ahead and say generate initials, generate initials. Okay, JS, generate initials. Okay, just say hope is the same function, generate initials, and then takes in the full name. The first thing is split, so you could just split using the regex, or you can just put space. It gets, when you split it, it converts this into an array of two items, the first and last name, and then we can map through this. We get the first one, and we can just join the first letters of each of this word, and then we can return the initials in caps. And this is the example how you can use it. I'm just going to simply go ahead in the header here. I'm just going ahead and create the initials. So I'm just going to say const initials is equal to generate initials, and we are not exporting this. Let's just first export this. So just go to this function, export. Okay, export. You can just make this a function, export function, generate initials. Just remove this. Okay, I'm not going to make it an arrow function, just like that. Export function, generate initials. Now we can just go ahead and access it here in the header. Okay, so we can say const initials is initials okay, is equal to generate initials. Okay, and yeah, so you can just get this, and we pass in the session dot username. Okay, so we can pass in this. Now we could just use these initials, so just come here where we have the image, this image here, and we have this image, and this one we have to replace in both. So I'm just going to check, make a check if, okay, if I'm just going to check if the image is there or not. Okay, if we can just check on the user. We can make an if statement on the user, and we can just say, for instance, something like session. Okay, we can check on the session dot user. Okay, so we can check if the user has image. Okay, if the image is there. So if the image is there, if this is true, okay, we can just go ahead and show this, and then here instead of the source we can put in this, we can just go ahead and populate this image here. Okay, just like that, just like this. Okay, user image, everything like that. Else we can generate another div. So I'm just going to say div, and in this div I'm just going to show the initials. Okay, I'm just going to put the initials, and they can just work on to these initials by giving them this the same width and height. So h96, actually just like this, just give it this exactly the way we have there. We have h8 rounded full border, and maybe just give it BG white. Okay, let's check now. Who is that? Okay, so you can check here AJ. Okay, application client side has occurred, blah blah. Why are we having this error? Did you mean the class name? Okay, so where do I have the class? I have the class name. Is there anywhere I have a class? Because they say home overview class. Did you mean class name? Let's just go ahead here. There's a lot of stuff here. Decryption operation failed. Decryption operation failed. This is decrypt having problems. I don't know. Here we don't have anything to do with like the class, do we? We don't. Okay, so just going to reload the app. I don't know what is this problem all about. Okay, what a client said has occurred. Let's first see here what would be the problem in this. cannot read undefined of split. Okay, so I think it is just this one, these ones here, but it's just like the at that point we already have the user. I don't know why just go down and see split. Okay, so there's this here from scratch. Cannot update a component while rendering a different component router to locate the bad state code inside the router. Follow the stack, blah blah blah. Okay, so instead of just maybe router pushing this, let me just do a return. They just return. I don't know if we can return like a login component. Sorry, I don't know. Just cancel this. I just want to return like the login. What is this? Component code. We can't just return this login component. Let me just see if that is possible here in the dashboard. Okay, let me just go to the dashboard. Where is the dashboard? So just go to app, back office dashboard, and we are on home, I guess. Overview page. Where were we doing all these? That was the header. I wonder where we are doing the image thing. That was in home. Okay. You know, it's supposed to be overview. Okay. I'm not even using this like the navbar. I don't know which page was I on. Just close all these. We'll just use this one in a second, but let's just go to let's go and look for this page we are on. This is home overview. Okay, and I think the image was in the navbar. That is the header here. So yeah, just say return the login. Okay, this is the component. This is a component. Just say login. As simple as that. And for that is supposed to be for the dashboard. for the whole maybe entire dashboard. Okay, but for this instead of on the stuff, let me see. Okay, just leave it just like this. I don't know, I just go ahead and see. So you can see loading the user, and they show us this admin at admin. So this one is password. Okay, so what I want is to do the same logic for this whole layout. I think I'm supposed even to check on the layout. Okay, because if someone try to access the dashboard, not only just the header but the whole entire dashboard is supposed to be redirected back to the home page or something like that. Okay, we could just go to, let me just copy this. Okay, we could just go to dashboard, to the layout. Now take a note, this layout is actually just a use client. I think we can just actually still use the session here, so const session, so you can just get here data as session, and then we could also get the status status of things from use session. Okay, and down here we can just say if status is equal to loading. Okay, so just say loading, please wait. So just say return ap tag, just say return ap saying loading, please wait, please wait, as simple as that. Okay, and then we could just say if authenticated, then we can bring this the login component from the login page. Okay, just like that. Yep, so that's it. And then we can just like we have protected this whole entire thing. Okay, right now we should be still logged in. So you see loading user, please wait, and okay. So now we can just go ahead and change this name, okay, to full name. I'm just going to remove this Galati because this was the name of the organization. Actually, we are not going to have this onboarding. You can just go ahead and put these details of the organization, but I'll not put them. I'm just going to put the full name here. So in the header, again, I'm just going to try to pick this. Okay, and then go to this header. Actually, just copy these 3 lines. Okay, just simply go to, let's go to, we have, if you just go to the home and you go to the overview page, we have this, the banner, and this, in the layout we have this home nav bar. So in this home nav bar is where we have this hello this. Let's also just go and get the same thing, and it is a client, use client. So just go ahead and do something like const, okay, just get this from use session, okay, and we are getting two things, the data, and you rename this to session, and then you also get the status, and then you can now do these if statements here. If the status is loading and unauthenticated, now you could just leave this one out still, because like we already have that check on the layout, you get. So down we can just simply get the name, and you don't need to get only one, just leave it the way it is, just like that, user.name. I'm just going to come and use it here, where we have here, just like this. If you wanted it to be in capital letters the way it is, we could just convert it to uppercase from here to uppercase. I don't know if it is necessary, but you can just convert it to uppercase just like that. So that you just come here and then you just say here hello, and then you say username. Okay, simple as that. And then this one I can just remove this. Okay, so let's see here, changing. Okay, hello Andrew Joe. Okay, so we have now this coming from the point of a logged in user. Okay, so the only thing I feel like I should put like a drop down like onto this, it should be like clickable, and then it gives us the sign out. Yeah, I feel like we already have, I think, also the sign out. We don't have the sign out button this side. I thought we have a sign out button down this side, but since we don't have it, we could just have a logout. Below this side we can have a logout button, and there also this side we could also add the logout when someone clicks any of this. So let me just go to I think we can just get a logout component from like the from chat. I don't know, let me just first see if I can get it very fast. Just like a drop down, I guess, like this, a drop down, like click, and then like you have like a menu sort of popping up just like this. Okay, let's just see how we can add this. We aren't going to add this whole huge one, we just want a simple one. And if you just go on installation, okay, you can just come here and let's add this. Already we have shard, do we? Yeah, I think we already have shard, so we can just come and add here. Just going to go to bash onto this, just install this. I'm just adding the drop down menu so that we just put it on our one of those stuffs. Meanwhile, that is it as it is working. So the usage is you import all these ones from the components UI, and you have the drop down menu, you have the trigger, the one you click to open, and then you have the drop down menu content, the one that will open. Okay, now you can see you have the my account, the separator, and blah blah. So we're just going to look at that in a second. Okay, let's see the installation. I don't know why it is not starting the installation. Looks like, did I just press enter? It is taking long than expected, but meanwhile let's just be importing this. Okay, I'm just going to go and get all these, so copy this. Okay, I'm just going to go to the header, not the navbar but the header. Okay, and here I just first really wait for this to install. I don't know why it is taking that long to install. Okay, can I just cancel it and redo it again? Okay, so as it's just trying to install, just also use this time to see how you are going to use it. So on the drop down menu we'll have this, then on the trigger we'll put the other image here on the trigger, I guess, and then on the content we'll just only put the logout. So right now we have the label, okay, and then you have the separator, and then you have all these items. So here you just have like logout. In fact, just like my account, and then like we can just leave these buttons. You have like the profile, blah blah, and then you have logout. Okay, okay, it is installing finally. Okay, it is installing the drop down menu. And then if that is the case, let's just go ahead and copy this. We'll be changing the data, so I'm just going to go up here. So it is done. Great. So I'm just going to import all these here in the header. Import those ones. What just happened? Okay, so we have them here. Okay, so after importing them, we can just go ahead and use them. So just also copy this. So just go to where we have either the name, you can put on the name or on the image, whatever you want. And I don't know why we have both of them. I don't know if we could just put here, and I don't know why we still have that. I think it is the JSON web tokens, they expire very fast. Okay, here just gonna say password. Okay, just log in here. So I just want either, we could just even remove any of these. Really, like I don't think we need we need both the image and that, but just leave it. But I'm just going to put this on this Andrew. Okay, just look for where Andrew is, the username. Okay, I think it is this one. So I'm just going to come and paste this here. Okay, I'm just going to come and paste that there, and we just need to rename the trigger. Here is going to be the Andrew, this button. So we can just copy this button, cut it, and let's just put as a trigger. Okay, so here just put like a trigger like that, and then we have the drop down menu that has been triggered. So here you can just leave like my account, and then we can remove all these ones. We could just leave them for purposes of you using them in the future, but we can just put here logout, and in the logout is going to be a button. Okay, we can also just create a button just like that and say logout. Okay, and I think it calls a function, so on click I don't know if it doesn't just put like on the button, on click it runs a function which is, I think, sign out. I think it is sign out. Okay, we can just in a second. Yeah, there is this sign out function from the next React. Let me just say it here. Sign out function from NextAuth React. Okay, so we should now have able to see like we can sign out. Let's see if everything is okay. We have this problem so far. Admin and we have this password. Okay, so I just want to check here if now it is working here. Yeah, so you can see we have a nice drop down. Okay, we have this nice drop down with a logout, and you can add or other things. Okay, so just say logout and please wait. Okay, so you can see it logs out. Okay, it logs out very well. And let's sign in again, admin at admin, and then here password. Okay, and let's log in. Okay, so we are in. So the functionality for the logging in, getting all the data is cool. Okay, now for the sake sometimes if you wanted to hide the details, because you can imagine if the system has the owner and people can register, so we could just go ahead and take off. If I just go here to this login page, and by the way, you could also put a logic. If someone tries to access the login page and is already logged in, let's see, we can just go to the login page. This login page, I don't know if it is this one or the other one, but just go to this login page. And since this is server side, let's leave it server side so that we can just see how we can get this data on the server side. And here we could just say const session is equal to get server session get. So we have another one from NextJS, which is get server session, and you pass in here auth options. Okay, so this one would also give us the session, the server session, and then you pass in the auth options. Here we could say if. Okay, now the problem is that we want to use the NextAuth. I want to use the router here. I want to use the router, so it will not be possible. This is only for the server side. Okay, this you only use it server side components. But since it is not possible, I just want to check using the router. So first of all, I'm just going to get the session the way we have been getting it, by saying const, and then I abstract the data as session, and then I'm just going to get the status also, and then I'm just going to say is equal to use session. Okay, just going to say use session. Something is wrong. Session, and status is equal to const. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the ifs. If status, okay, is equal to loading, you can just go and say return loading. Okay, loading user, please wait. So here you could just put a nice component, please wait, just like that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and so what do we want to do here? We want to say if authenticated, so you just say if, okay, if status, okay, if status is equal to this time once say authenticated. If someone is authenticated, then we have to redirect. Actually, we could use even redirect. I don't know why I'm not using redirect. Yes, we could just use redirect. I don't know if it still also works, and we can just redirect them to the dashboard. The other same link we have on the login, I think we have this link down here. Let's check in this component. Okay, the router.push this here. Let me just use it on top here, so you can redirect. Okay, so if it is authenticated and someone is trying to what? Can we just like look at what we have here? Auth options. Get server, and they just make this use client. See. Okay, so this is to ensure that if someone in any case is authenticated, we redirect them back onto this dashboard. Okay, as you can see, we already have authenticated user, so we can check that and we redirect them here. So if I log out, okay, and we have this, now we can log in. So just try to log in with admin. Okay, you see it was admin at admin, and then like password, login. Okay, so I just try to go to the login page. So if I just try to go to login, like to go to the login, so you can see it does not accept. If you just go and type in like I want to go to the login, so it goes there and redirects back to the dashboard because it doesn't make sense. Okay, it's only the person who has actually logged out who should go to the login page. Okay, so I'm just going to log out. Okay, I'm just going to log out. Okay, just like that. But now what I just want is if it is someone's system, really we could just go ahead and let the sign up page remain, whereby someone can actually sign up. Okay, actually just sign up with another person right now. I'm just going to put in my name. I'm just going to use one of these emails. Okay, and then you say password is going to be test, just like that. Sign up. Okay, and of course the letters here, and just use the it is, and the password was test. Okay, login. Okay, so an error happened. Okay, just check this. React will try to create this component tree from scratch using the boundary. The above error in the router component. Okay, I don't know why we have all these rendered more hooks than during the previous render, blah blah. Cannot update the component while rendering a different component router. To locate the bad set code inside the router, just try to reload. Okay, so we now just go to this. Okay, I think it's just like a bug, but we have this the name, everything brought in very well. Okay, so right now the authentication, we have the dashboard protected very well. Okay, in the other big course we are going to look at how to use the how to use the middleware, and even to use this method, so that you just actually, I think the middleware also gives a better control. Okay, we can also use the middleware. Okay, so I don't know if we should continue right now. We could just continue and finish up, but I think just like we can end this episode here, and then I will just see you in the next episode. Okay, I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you have not subscribed at this point, please subscribe, and you can also just find this link to buy me a coffee. I will leave the link in the description, and I would really appreciate for your sincere contribution or your generosity or kindness. I would really appreciate. Thank you so much for watching this episode. See you in the next one.